Well, this is also part of, my campaign. One of my big points is around allowing more density in State College because, we're a very desirable place to live. People are going to move here no matter what. The question is, are they going to live in town in houses that we currently aren't allowed to construct?
Right.
Or are they going to keep sprawling onto all this farmland and all this forest?
Yeah.
Like, the people won't disappear. They'll just live further and further out.
Right.
And so I think that if we allow denser housing in State College, a lot of people would choose to live in our town and keep this wild land and this farmland, as it is, instead of having to bulldoze it all to make new housing.
So one of the things Pennsylvania Interfaith Power and Light does is advocates at the political level, locally and nationally, and excited today to be joined with Matt Herndon.
Hi, how's it going?
Matt's running for our local Borough Council and is an advocate for bike safety, bike infrastructure in our community. We'll get to know Matt as we go.
Yeah. Currently on Transportation Commission, hoping to be on Borough Council. We're gonna go ride to our local polling place, which is pretty close, but not a great walk.
Not a great walk. Yeah, not much shoulder on this first road here.
No shoulder here. This is Whitehall, which is a PennDOT road. They have chosen not to put sidewalks on it, which is a choice.
Not great for polling place. Matt, how'd you get into local politics?
I didn't really think I was gonna be in local politics, and then one day I was walking up Allen Street with my son, and we saw a cyclist on the other side of the street being loaded into an ambulance.
Ooh.
And he'd been in the bike lane, but it's just paint.
Yeah.
It did not save him from a driver who was not paying enough attention. So,
right.
Yeah, so I saw that guy and I said, that's crazy. I got to start going to Borough Council meetings. So I started showing up and, asking like, what are we going to do about this? This shouldn't happen here.
Right.
We can fix this. Let's fix it. And that, got me put on Transportation Commission. And there I realized these commissions are just recommendatory. They just make recommendations. They don't actually pass like true rules. That all comes from the council.
Yeah.
So if we really want to fix things, got to get it done at the council level. So this year came around, I said, all right, I guess I got to run for council.
Wow.
So that's what I'm doing.
Well, that's really cool. I think there's a couple different political pathways these days. One is to just complain.
That's what I did. It worked super well.
One is to vote and say I'm doing my part, my small part that way, and then the other is to actively run and be part of it that way.
Yeah, so, I'll give you even more. You could also volunteer for someone who is running. You could be knocking doors. I have a bunch of people who've, kindly volunteered their time to go out and spread this message, and other people volunteer their resources, their money. They donate to the campaign. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get involved, even if you're not, maybe ready to be a candidate yourself.
Right.
Because it's a lot of work. And Borough Council is an unpaid position.
Unpaid.
You do it because I think, I'm doing it because I want to make this community better. I can't say what everyone else does it for, but so up here is the street you have to cross.
There's a bike lane parallel, but not one to get across.
Well, there is a there's a bike lane across it, but
you got to cross it.
Yep.
That was a textbook example of riding on that road there. Even though we're in a bike lane, people like to punch the gas and pass close.
There's a law in Pennsylvania about giving 4 feet of distance when you pass, but it is essentially unenforced and has almost no penalty if you were to be caught doing it. So few people, I shouldn't say few people, lots of people follow it, but it only takes one person to not follow it to make it a problem. So that's why I advocate for truly separated bike lanes, not just paint, but a physical barrier between cars and bikes to, keep cyclists safe. But also, if you're a driver, you don't want to have that on your conscience,
right?
Yeah. You don't have that on your insurance. Like,
this is your voting place. Used to be a farmer's field, is that right?
This was, it used to be a farmer's field.
And nice that this is a polling place at a local house of worship, but as we've talked about, the downside of getting here by foot is one very busy road.
Yeah, I don't imagine what it would be like to cross that on foot and not on bike. I think it would not be a very safe thing. I would bet you 0 people walk to this polling place or to this church, which is unfortunate. You know, we can build infrastructure to make it so people can get around by walking and biking, but when we choose not to, we force them into the car.
Right.
And that's a choice. That's a political choice we make. You know, our cities make every day.
What
So here I'm going to show you there is a secret back way I found by scouring Google Maps. If you just route here, it does not tell you to do this. It tells you to walk, you know, along that route we just came, which I think no one would ever do again after doing once. But I found a little back road, which I said, if I was going to walk here, if I really had to, this is how I would go. So I'm going to take you on the secret back road that I've never ridden before and hope that it is as safe as I think it is.
We'll cross our fingers, yeah. Oh yeah, so there isn't an actual sidewalk there. You kind of got off-road.
Yeah, you could walk past
be easy to walk.
Up through the playground and make it a little easier, but I went for the challenge.
Yeah.
I could see this street never having a sidewalk and it being okay because it's a dead-end street.
It's quiet. Yeah. Really lovely.
Sidewalk, but this one, it doesn't feel required.
Lovely wooded area. Yeah.
What's that old Shell Silverstein where the sidewalk ends?
Where the sidewalk ends, just right back there.
Well, and so here again, you can see this whole area is designed for cars.
Yeah.
There's no sidewalk to speak of. So
Even with the retirement community.
Yeah.
And house of worship.
You can walk to that light, and then you can walk through the grass or along this. I do like this traffic circle. I think we should have more traffic circles.
Yeah.
They're a much safer choice than a stop sign, in my opinion.
We're going to leave the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship and head over to a new development, somewhat controversial development built on farmland again, but also built on a water reservoir for our area. So controversially and under protest built, but we'll see how we can get there. And looks like, again, there's this sidewalk, a bit of a bike lane.
I think you keep your life in your hands to get on it, you know? I see a few people riding that bike lane, but it is, this car is traveling 50 miles per hour right next to you.
Yeah.
So, to me, that feels like one of those bike lanes that's like an invitation to seriousness. Yeah.
Yeah.
I yelled heads up for that guy. That's one of the most dangerous moments for cyclists, you know?
Yeah.
When there's a car and they're only looking at the oncoming car traffic and they don't even think that there could be a cyclist or pedestrian coming from the other side. So
especially
I really feel like you gotta make yourself known there.
Especially on a somewhat unused sidewalk.
Because they're like, oh, no one uses this, so why would I look?
I guess drawing its name from our football culture?
Yeah, they have a lot of football named streets, so
okay.
That's definitely got to be it.
You're just saying that this development is supposed to have a park behind it. I think the park was kind of a concession for the anger at the development. So there is...
Hey, look at this though, they got a nice little bike trail right here. That's
something.
The trail will actually be continued on the other side. They're going to be working to add it on Blue Course on the other side.
And
so
Blue Course already does have some nice portions of...
Right, but they got to connect this basically to Orchard Park with the trail from this side of Blue Course over there, which I think is a really good thing because, you know, this is only 2 miles from campus. Like, people could easily bike or even walk. You know, people walked 2 miles back in the day. I used to walk 2 miles a day when I was living in New York City area. That was nothing. But nowadays, people see 2 miles and they think, oh, you gotta drive a car. Yeah. It's like we just showed why that is some places because there's literally no sidewalk. Like, you literally have to if you value your life. But here, at least, they're making infrastructure. Yeah. So then it'll be on the people. Like, will you actually bike? Will you actually walk? And that's a secondary question, which is an important one too. But first, you got to build a way for them to get there.
That's right. No one's going to do it if there's no infrastructure to do it.
Ride this all the way to Musser Gap. You can ride the top of Musser. There you hit the Mid-State Trail, you go all the way to New York or Maryland. Maybe not on a bike the whole way, but it's pretty amazing that our little town connects to these huge mountains just right outside of town.
I was going to say, one of my favorite parts of living here is how quickly we can get out into countryside and into forest, Rothrock, things like that, but getting out of town can sometimes be the biggest. And remind those who are from this area when the election is.
Yeah, the election is on Tuesday, next Tuesday, May 16th. Go vote in person at State College. Absolutely. Vote Herndon.
Vote Herndon. Vote for the Borough Council. Vote the slate of school board members. That's an important one in this election too.
Yeah, I invite people to go check out, if they're still confused, go look on CNET for the League of Women Voters question night and also for other nights, but you can see a lot of answers from me and all these other candidates. Some candidates didn't show up. I wouldn't vote for them if they didn't show up. If they didn't want to answer, you know, public questions, I would be concerned.
Matt, thanks so much for taking the time. This has been a lot of fun for me and hopefully for those of you watching. Thanks for being a part of Interfaith Power and Light's 2023 bike trip.
Yeah, very excited.
See y'all soon.